Not all Hollywood success stories conclude happily. Many celebrities, despite rising from humble beginnings, succumb to addiction, mental health issues, or poor financial decisions, leading to tragic downfalls and even homelessness. This article explores the lives of such stars. Margot Kidder, famous for her role as Lois Lane in the Superman films, faced a devastating decline despite her earlier fame. In the mid-1990s, she struggled with schizophrenia and severe depression, culminating in a manic episode in 1996 when she was found homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. Kidder lived in cardboard boxes and faced dire conditions until her family located her. After receiving treatment, she became a mental health advocate, emphasizing that anyone can face similar challenges. Erin Moran, the child star from Happy Days, also experienced a tragic downfall. After spending her wealth irresponsibly, she lost her home and ended up living in a trailer. Following a series of unfortunate events, including a fight with her mother-in-law, she found herself homeless and ultimately succumbed to a heroin overdose in 2017. Dana Plato, a former child star from Different Strokes, faced a tragic trajectory marked by struggles with substance abuse, beginning as a teenager. Following the show's conclusion, her life deteriorated due to personal and legal troubles, including arrests for robbery and prescription fraud. By 1992, she battled severe addiction and even spent time in jail. In 1999, found homeless in Oklahoma, her claims of sobriety were short-lived, as she died from a drug overdose ruled a suicide. A final interview revealed her addiction, but met with harsh criticism, allegedly influencing her demise. Similarly, Lonnie Wilson, a former fitness model married to Baywatch's Jeremy Jackson, succumbed to addiction and mental health issues, leading to her homelessness in Venice Beach. Her claims of being unable to live indoors due to feeling electrical currents while questionable reflected the depth of her struggles. MC Hammer's rapid rise and fall in the 1990s epitomized excess, with lavish spending leading to significant debt. After losing his fortune, he recovered through concert tours and smarter investments. Jan Michael Vincent, an iconic heartthrob of the 1980s and star of the beloved TV series Airwolf, initially enjoyed a meteoric rise to fame. His striking looks and lead role made him a household name. However, Vincent's personal life took a downward spiral, plagued by addiction, violence, and bad luck. His well-documented struggles with alcohol and drugs led to multiple arrests for various offenses, including drunk driving and felony assault. Tragically, his addiction contributed to a series of car accidents, culminating in the amputation of his right leg. With his health in decline, Vincent's once promising career faded, and he retreated to a life of seclusion in rural Mississippi. By the time of his death at age 74, he had long been absent from the public eye, a shadow of the star he once was. Vincent's story serves as a poignant reminder of the harsh realities that can accompany fame and the personal battles many celebrities face. Leif Garrett's career was once soaring as a teen idol in the 1970s. Known for his boyish looks and fame, Garrett quickly became a sensation in the entertainment world. However, his troubles began when he fell into the world of drugs. Over the years, Garrett's addiction to drugs overshadowed his career, and he was arrested multiple times. His personal issues caused him to fall out of favor with the public, and by the time he was an adult, Garrett had lost everything he had gained. Although he made attempts to turn his life around with rehab and other efforts, Garrett's struggles with addiction left him unable to reclaim the fame he once had. These stories are stark reminders of how quickly fame and fortune can evaporate. From the highest peaks of success to the lowest depths of homelessness, these celebrities show the fragile nature of stardom and the devastating consequences of addiction, poor decisions, and mental health struggles. Some managed to reclaim their lives, while others faded into obscurity. These tales serve as a warning that even the brightest stars can fall, but redemption is possible, albeit elusive for some. The stories of these stars remind us that behind the fame and glamour, they were human, with vulnerabilities and struggles just like anyone else. Hollywood is often seen as the land of dreams, where stars rise from humble beginnings to achieve fame, fortune, and success. But not all stories in Tinseltown come with happy endings. Some of the brightest stars who once enjoyed the spotlight later lost their way, falling victim to addiction, financial mismanagement, or mental health struggles. These once celebrated names, who had everything to lose, saw their careers and personal lives spiral out of control, leading them to become homeless. Some of these figures managed to find redemption and rebuild their lives, while others succumbed to tragedy. In this story, we explore the lives of celebrities who hit rock bottom and became homeless, and the often heartbreaking twists that led to their downfall. Margot Kidder, widely known for her iconic portrayal of Lois Lane in the Superman films alongside Christopher Reeve, was once one of Hollywood's brightest stars. She enjoyed a glamorous career and personal life, having relationships with well-known figures like actor Richard Pryor and Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. However, the dazzling life she had on screen was soon overshadowed by mental health issues. Kidder was diagnosed with schizophrenia and severe depression, leading to an unimaginable fall from grace. In 1996, she suffered a manic episode that saw her living homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. She was found sleeping in cardboard boxes, her appearance disheveled, her teeth missing, and her hair hacked off. This shocking transformation from a Hollywood beauty to a homeless wanderer stunned her fans and the public. Kidder's story is a painful reminder of how mental illness can derail even the most successful careers. She was eventually discovered living behind bushes in Glendale, California. In a poignant twist, her family and the police intervened, getting her the psychiatric help she needed. Kidder, who had once been a glamorous star, went on to advocate for mental health awareness, speaking openly about her struggles. She once stated, "We are all just a breath away from mental illness and homelessness," acknowledging how often society dismisses these issues. Erin Moran, best known for her role as Joni Cunningham on the beloved sitcom Happy Days, also found herself lost in the darkness of addiction and homelessness. Moran, a child star at the age of 14, made a name for herself in the 1970s, but by the 2000s, she had squandered her wealth and was in a downward spiral. She lost her home to foreclosure and was left broke, struggling with substance abuse. In 2010, she and her husband were forced to move into his elderly mother's trailer in Indiana, but things quickly deteriorated. After a violent altercation with her mother-in-law, she was kicked out of the trailer. Moran, who had no place to go, spent her final days bouncing from motel to motel, struggling with her addiction. Tragically, in 2017, Moran was found dead from a heroin overdose at the age of 56. Dana Plato, another child star from the hit sitcom Different Strokes, had an equally tragic tale. After the show ended, Plato struggled to adjust to life after fame. Behind the scenes, she battled with drug and alcohol addiction, which became publicly known as her career unraveled. She faced multiple legal issues, including an arrest for robbing a video store and forging prescriptions. By 1999, Plato was living in motels in Oklahoma, homeless and battling addiction. Just before her death, Plato appeared on The Howard Stern Show, where she claimed to be sober. However, after facing harsh criticism from callers, her life took a tragic turn. Weeks later, she was found dead from a drug overdose, and her death was ruled a suicide. Plato's struggles with addiction and the harsh realities of fame left her without a home, career, or support system. Lonnie Wilson, a successful fitness model in the 1990s, also fell from grace, becoming homeless due to a combination of drug addiction and mental health issues. Wilson, once celebrated for her appearances in magazines, married Baywatch star Jeremy Jackson, but their relationship was marred by addiction and abuse. Wilson eventually found herself living on the streets of Venice Beach, California. She claimed that her struggles were compounded by her ex-husband's abusive behavior, which she said included a violent incident where Jackson allegedly tried to strangle her. Wilson also spoke about her inability to live inside because she felt she was sensitive to electricity, though her addiction to methamphetamine was more likely the root cause of her downward spiral. MC Hammer, one of the most recognizable names in hip-hop during the 1990s, also experienced a fall from grace. The rapper, known for his hit songs and flashy style, lived a life of excess. He spent millions on a mansion, luxury cars, helicopters, and racehorses. However, when the music industry shifted, Hammer's career faltered. Despite losing money, he continued to maintain his extravagant lifestyle, paying a large staff and living in his over-the-top mansion. Eventually, he went broke and had to sell everything, ending up in debt to the tune of $3 million. Hammer owed over $800,000 in taxes and was forced to file for bankruptcy. However, through hard work and determination, Hammer eventually made a comeback, downsizing his life, organizing concerts, and investing his money wisely. Jan Michael Vincent, a former heartthrob from the 1980s and star of Airwolf, had a similarly tragic downfall. Known for his looks and starring role in the popular TV series, Vincent was on top of the world in the early 1980s. However, his struggles with alcoholism and drug addiction soon took a toll on his career and personal life. Vincent was arrested multiple times for offenses including drunk driving, assault, and possession of narcotics. His addiction led to several automobile accidents, and in one tragic incident, his right leg was amputated. Vincent's substance abuse and health issues eventually led to homelessness, and he spent his final years in seclusion, living in rural Mississippi. He passed away in 2020, having faded from the public eye years before. Leif Garrett, a teen idol in the 1970s, also found himself falling from grace. Known for his good looks and his popularity in the entertainment industry, Garrett quickly became a household name. However, his addiction to drugs led to his downfall. Throughout his career, Garrett was arrested multiple times and struggled with the effects of his addiction. Eventually, he was unable to reclaim his fame and found himself living on the streets. His story is another tragic example of the fragility of stardom, and despite his attempts at recovery, Garrett's struggles with addiction continued to overshadow any chance at a comeback. These stories of fallen stars are stark reminders that fame and fortune are often fleeting, and without the proper support, many celebrities fall victim to the pressures of their personal demons. Whether it's addiction, mental health struggles, or poor financial decisions, the harsh reality of Hollywood is that even the brightest stars can dim. Yet there are stories of hope within these tales. Some of these stars have managed to rebuild their lives and find redemption, while others, unfortunately, have fallen into tragic endings. For those who manage to find their way out of the darkness, the journey is a testament to resilience and the power of second chances. However, for many, the battle remains an ongoing struggle, one that the public often never fully understands. Throughout Hollywood's storied history, countless stars have risen from humble beginnings, achieved great success, and inspired millions. However, not all success stories end with a happy conclusion. For some, the very qualities that helped them reach the pinnacle of fame, ambition, charisma, and determination, eventually became the catalysts for their downfall. Struggles with addiction, mental health challenges, and poor financial decisions have caused many once celebrated names to fall into homelessness. While some have managed to rebuild their lives, others faced tragic endings that shocked their fans and revealed the darker side of celebrity life. One of the most heart-wrenching stories is that of Margot Kidder, the actress who famously portrayed Lois Lane in the Superman films alongside Christopher Reeve. Kidder's career and personal life were marked by significant success and high-profile relationships, including romances with the legendary comedian Richard Pryor and Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. Despite this, Kidder's life took a devastating turn when she was diagnosed with schizophrenia and severe depression, conditions that deeply affected both her career and personal life. In 1996, after suffering a manic episode, Kidder was found wandering the streets of Los Angeles in a disheveled state. Once known for her beauty and charm, Kidder now slept in cardboard boxes with missing teeth and chopped-off hair. Her fall from Hollywood's elite to homelessness was shocking. It wasn't until her family and the police intervened that Kidder was taken to a psychiatric clinic and began treatment. Over time, she became a strong advocate for mental health, publicly speaking about her experiences and reminding people of the fragility of life. "We are all just a breath away from mental illness and homelessness," she famously said, highlighting the struggles faced by those suffering in silence. A similarly tragic tale is that of Erin Moran, who found fame at just 14 years old for her role as Joni Cunningham on Happy Days. Although she was beloved by millions, Moran's personal life was tumultuous. After years of addiction and personal turmoil, she lost her wealth and, in 2010, faced foreclosure on her California home. Forced to live with her husband's elderly mother in a trailer park in Indiana, Moran's life seemed to spiral further out of control. After a heated argument with her mother-in-law, Moran was kicked out of the trailer park and bounced from motel to motel, struggling to find stability. In 2017, Moran tragically passed away from a heroin overdose, with her struggles with addiction and mental health having consumed her life. Her story serves as a painful reminder of how the pressures of childhood fame, combined with addiction and mental health struggles, can tear a life apart. Moran's story, like so many others, ended in tragedy, and fans who once adored her were left mourning the loss of a beloved star. Another tragic example of Hollywood's darker side is Dana Plato, a child star who became widely known for her role on the popular sitcom Different Strokes. Plato's career, like many child stars, faltered as she struggled with drug and alcohol addiction. Behind the scenes, Plato was already battling addiction while working on the show. Her struggles with substance abuse led to a series of legal troubles, including a robbery and prescription forgery. After Different Strokes ended, Plato's life continued to spiral, and she was found living in motels in Oklahoma, homeless and struggling to stay sober. Despite claiming to be clean, Plato's addiction ultimately caught up with her. In 1999, she tragically passed away from a drug overdose, and her death was ruled a suicide. Her story underscores the pressures faced by child stars and how addiction can consume even the brightest careers. Plato's life was tragically cut short by the very demons that haunted her throughout her time in the spotlight. These stories, though heartbreaking, serve as cautionary tales about the dangers of fame, addiction, and mental illness. They highlight the fragile nature of success and the destructive effects of substance abuse, poor financial decisions, and mental health struggles. While these stars once held the world in the palm of their hands, they ultimately faced a much darker reality. Margot Kidder, Erin Moran, and Dana Plato are just a few examples of the many celebrities whose lives unraveled due to the pressures of fame and the struggles they faced behind the scenes. These tragic stories serve as reminders of the human side of celebrity. Behind the glamorous facades and the adoration of fans, many stars are battling personal demons that are often hidden from the public eye. Despite the despair that marked their final years, these stories also offer hope. They remind us that even in the darkest moments, it is possible to find redemption and rebuild one's life. While some stars didn't make it through their struggles, others have managed to rebuild and come back stronger. Margot Kidder, for example, emerged as a passionate mental health advocate, while others found ways to get clean and start new careers after falling from grace. The road to recovery is never easy, and the path is often long and filled with setbacks. But for those who have managed to overcome their battles with addiction and mental illness, Their stories are a beacon of hope for anyone facing similar struggles. They show that no matter how far someone may fall, there is always the possibility of picking oneself up again. As the entertainment industry continues to evolve, the stories of these fallen stars remind us of the importance of mental health support, addiction recovery, and the need for compassion and understanding. We must remember that the pressures of fame can be overwhelming, and that celebrities, like everyone else, are human beings who need help and support to navigate their personal challenges. The stories of Margot Kidder, Erin Moran, Dana Plato, and others offer valuable lessons about the realities of fame, and they remind us that success can be fleeting. Lonnie Wilson's story is one of Hollywood's most tragic downfalls, a tale of a once promising fitness model who was swallowed up by addiction and mental health struggles. Wilson had once graced the covers of fitness magazines and was married to Jeremy Jackson, the star of Baywatch. At the height of her career, she seemed poised for lasting success. However, things quickly took a dark turn when she began struggling with methamphetamine addiction and mental health issues. The combination of these two powerful forces sent Wilson down a path that led to homelessness. She found herself living on the streets of Venice Beach, California, a far cry from the glamorous life she had once known. Wilson's personal struggles were compounded by a toxic and abusive marriage. She spoke publicly about the violent relationship she had with Jackson, revealing how he had tried to strangle her during their marriage. Her story didn't stop there. Wilson went on to describe an unusual belief that she was sensitive to electricity, claiming that she had been electrocuted daily for nearly a year. Whether this was a symptom of her addiction or a real physical condition remained unclear, but it certainly added to the chaotic nature of her life. While some may question the validity of her experiences, there's no denying that Wilson's fall from grace is a stark reminder of how substance abuse and mental health struggles can derail even the most promising careers. In a similarly tragic vein, we have the rise and fall of MC Hammer, a figure who once dominated the music scene in the early 1990s. Known for his hit songs such as You Can't Touch This, Hammer became a household name, and his flamboyant persona made him a cultural icon. In addition to his chart-topping success, Hammer's image was that of a man who had it all: a mansion, luxury cars, helicopters, and even racehorses. He was on top of the world with his own cartoon series and a spot in the hearts of millions. However, as quickly as his fame rose, it came crashing down. The rap and hip-hop scene changed, and the music industry evolved, leaving Hammer in the dust. Despite his massive wealth and extravagant spending, including a $30 million renovation of his 40,000-square-foot mansion, Hammer's fortune quickly dissipated. He found himself buried under mountains of debt, owing millions in taxes and struggling to keep up with the high cost of maintaining his lavish lifestyle. Unable to sustain his large staff of over 200 employees, Hammer was forced to sell everything he owned, including his mansion, and file for bankruptcy. It was a shocking fall from grace for a man who had once been at the top of the entertainment world. Despite this, MC Hammer's story is ultimately one of redemption. Through sheer perseverance, he was able to rebuild his life by organizing concerts and making smarter financial investments. He managed to claw his way back into the public eye and found stability again, proving that recovery, even after the most devastating losses, is possible. Then there is the story of John Michael Vincent, a once teen idol who became synonymous with the TV series Airwolf. Known for his rugged good looks and starring role in the popular action series, Vincent's career seemed destined for success. However, behind the scenes, he was battling addiction, which spiraled out of control. Alcoholism and drug abuse led to multiple arrests and numerous run-ins with the law. In the 1980s, Vincent's downward spiral took a toll on his health. He was involved in several car accidents, many of which were a result of his habit of driving while intoxicated. Tragically, one of these accidents led to the amputation of his right leg. Despite his fame and once promising future, Vincent ended up living in seclusion, homeless, and struggling to make sense of his life. Vincent's addiction, combined with poor choices and the physical toll of his career, left him with little. He spent years living in various places, eventually ending up in rural Mississippi. His story is a painful reminder of how addiction, when left unchecked, can destroy everything, even the most successful and promising careers. Vincent's life ended in obscurity, a far cry from the bright future he had once seemed to have. Similarly, Leif Garrett, another former child star, saw his career come to a crashing halt due to his ongoing battle with addiction. Garrett, who was a teen idol in the 1970s, had everything going for him at the start. However, his struggles with drugs overshadowed his early success. He faced multiple arrests for drug-related offenses, and his career quickly plummeted as he became increasingly reliant on substances. Garrett's life was filled with missteps, and despite his attempts at recovery, he ultimately found himself living on the streets. His downfall serves as a sobering reminder of the dangers of fame combined with addiction, and how it can take away everything a person has worked for. What these stories reveal is a common thread. Fame and fortune, while often seen as the pinnacle of success, can sometimes serve as a double-edged sword. For many celebrities, the pressures of being in the spotlight, combined with addiction, mental health struggles, and poor financial decisions, can lead to devastating consequences. The tragic fates of Wilson, Hammer, Vincent, and Garrett show that while the entertainment world may offer the bright allure of success and admiration, it can also be fraught with dangers that lead to personal destruction. These fallen stars, however, are not without redemption stories. While some were never able to recover, others found ways to rebuild their lives. In many cases, their resilience and perseverance serve as an inspiring testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the darkest of times. For some, it was about finding a new purpose or turning to different career paths. For others, it was about confronting the demons that had haunted them for so long. The stories of these celebrities show that while fame can be fleeting, the opportunity for redemption is always present. In some cases, recovery from addiction and mental health struggles meant finding a new calling. For example, MC Hammer's eventual return to the public eye, though modest compared to his heyday, marked a redemption arc that many people find inspiring. He used his experiences to educate others and turned his focus to financial management and personal growth. Similarly, Leif Garrett's attempts to recover and get clean were marked by new opportunities, even if his earlier career could never be fully regained. For others, the road to recovery was marked by personal tragedy. Jan Michael Vincent's untimely death at the age of 74 marked the end of a painful journey. He never regained the success he once had, but his story still serves as a cautionary tale about the impact of addiction on health, career, and personal well-being. His story is a sobering reminder of the fragility of success and the importance of addressing personal demons before they become too overwhelming to overcome. In the case of Dana Plato and Aaron Moran, their stories ended in tragic fashion, but they still serve as poignant reminders of how the pressures of fame, combined with addiction, can have devastating consequences. Their struggles are a warning about the dark side of the entertainment industry, where fame can sometimes come at a high price. In the end, the fall from grace of these once celebrated stars serves as a stark reminder of the pitfalls of fame. They show us that no matter how high someone rises, they can also fall just as quickly. But more importantly, their stories illustrate the human capacity for resilience and redemption. For those who were able to find their way back from the brink, their journeys are a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of mental health, addiction recovery, and financial stability. As the world continues to change and evolve, the entertainment industry remains as unpredictable as ever. The stories of these fallen stars remind us of the importance of keeping an eye on the mental health of those in the spotlight, offering support to those who need it, and always remembering that success is never guaranteed.